Hey guys, it's Aaron Farmer with mysugarfreejourney.com, and we are here at day 12, I believe. We're going to talk about the different types of carbohydrates. Just on a personal note, I wanted to say that I had my goal to be at 260 by the end of May. So I missed that, but it is now June 4th. So, and this morning I woke up, I was 260 pounds exactly. So it took me 4 extra days to meet that goal, but I am where I want to be. So 260, it's 140 pounds lost over the last couple years, and 40 pounds lost since the beginning of 2016. So good news for me. I'm ecstatic. I'm really happy. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about on day 12. This is the recap video for the Facebook video that we had last night. Much shorter, much more succinct. So we looked at yesterday that there's a lot of different types of diets that work. Some are low carb, some are low fat, but the one thing that every successful diet has in common is they restrict sugar in some way, and they're usually high in fiber as well. So food companies, but our problem is that food companies add sugar to almost every processed food in order to make it taste better. And when you add sugar, you add fructose, and fructose is what drives weight gain. And we've talked before how approximately 80% of the products on the shelf at your local grocery store have added sugar. That's a lot of added sugar, or grain fillers. Sugar is sucrose. So sucrose is a molecule of half glucose and half fructose. And it's the fructose that's causing all these metabolic issues. So when you eat sugar, the glucose and the fructose are separated by the body, and the liver processes each half differently. The glucose is processed like a carb, turned into glycogen, which causes insulin stored as fat, and the fructose is processed like a fat, which overloads your liver by accessing both metabolic pathways in the liver. And remember, we talked how last night you basically have two pathways in the liver that come together. One side will process fat well, and one side will process carbs well. And as long as you keep one of those pathways open all the time, everything works smooth. The problem becomes when you eat carbs and fat at the same time. Your liver can't process them both at the same time. And anytime you eat sugar, you are by definition eating a carb and a fat at the same time, because your body sees half of sugar as a carb and half of sugar as a fat, and that's what causes all the issues. So Americans are consuming sugar at a rate of about 6.5 ounces a day, or 130 pounds a year. And our fructose consumption has nearly doubled in the last 30 years. Obviously, this is because of the advent of high fructose corn syrup. 50% of Americans have at least one soda a day. That's half of all Americans drink a soda a day. And 5% have more than 4 a day. And 20 to 25% of the calories that we eat each day, 20 to 25% of the calories we let me start over. 20 to 25% of the calories we eat and drink each day is from sugar. That's what I'm trying to say. So almost a quarter of the calories that the average American eats is from just sugar, which, by the way, has no nutritional or value to you at all. It's just calories. And for some adolescents, that number is as high as 40%. You see kids with soft drinks in their hands and fruit juices and Gatorades and Powerades. They seem to live on that stuff, and that's 40%. A lot of times, that's 40% of their total calories for the day comes from sugar. And when we say sugar, we don't just mean the white stuff in the sugar bowl. We're including white sugar, cane sugar, beet sugar, sugar in the raw, fruit sugar, brown sugar, molasses, high fructose corn syrup, agave, honey, maple syrup, pretty much anything that contains both glucose and fructose, or fructose by itself. And so some of these are important because some people, especially if you're on a paleo diet, you may have been told that honey is natural, it's a natural sugar, or that maple syrup is a natural sugar and it doesn't cause the damage. Well, your body can't tell the difference between a natural sugar and a processed sugar. It's just glucose and fructose to it. So if you're eating something that contains glucose and fructose, it just processes like sugar, regardless of how natural it is. So there are 3 main types of carbohydrates. The first is glucose, which we've discussed at length, I think. That causes your body to secrete insulin, which drives weight gain. And glucose doesn't harm you directly. Most of the harm that comes from glucose is just from gradual weight gain over time. In fact, there are people who are on high glucose diets, and they can be perfectly healthy as long as they control their weight. The second type is from ethanol, from alcohol. So ethanol bypasses the liver. It's converted to lipids directly by the mitochondria in the cells. The unused lipids are transported back to the liver, where they can build up over time, causing liver and damaging the liver and causing cirrhosis. So that's what happens if somebody's an alcoholic. Those lipids back up in the liver over, if you're drinking a lot of alcohol over time, and can cause cirrhosis. It's virtually the same thing if you're eating a lot of fructose, because fructose does the same thing. It backs your liver up and causes essentially cirrhosis, but when it's caused by fructose, we call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And finally, fructose. It causes a host of issues with your body. So we're going to start by looking at the Maillard reaction. So this is what turns the hemoglobin in your blood to hemoglobin A1C, which is what doctors use to measure your blood sugar level over time. So if your doctor tests your blood sugar, he's getting a snapshot of what your blood sugar level is right now. But when he tests your hemoglobin A1C, he's seeing what your sugar level rates in the blood are over a long period of time. So it gives them a better idea of what your average is over a long period of time. The reaction product from the Maillard reaction is brown, and it's what causes bananas to brown. It's what causes apples. You cut them and they start turning brown. It's what causes meat to brown when you cook it under a layer of barbecue sauce. That sugar caramelizes and turns the meat brown. So you can brown your meat at 375 degrees for an hour, or you can brown your meat at 98.6 degrees for 75 years. It's the same reaction. So if you've got we're almost 100 degrees all the time, and if you've got high blood sugar and high fructose levels in your bloodstream, you're causing this Maillard reaction. So fructose drives the Maillard reaction 7 times faster than glucose, and it causes every cell in your body to age faster. That's what that Maillard reaction does, that browning reaction. It increases your chances of cancer, increases your chances of dementia, of cognitive decline, other maladies of age. In fact, we've talked before how many doctors are starting to call dementia type 3 diabetes, because it seems to be caused by a lot of the same factors that cause other types of diabetes. Fructose also causes ATP depletion in the liver, which increases the amount of uric acid in the blood, which can lead to gout and increased blood pressure. So if you've got someone that struggles with gout, like I've got someone in my family that does, my son's father-in-law, the first thing they should do is cut out the sugar. It gets metabolized as fat, which increases your chances of heart disease. I'm talking about fructose. It promotes inflammation and insulin resistance. It drives an increase in visceral fat. Remember, visceral fat is the fat around your belly that causes all the damage. It can also cause leaky gut by breaking down intestinal barriers, and can cause cognitive decline. In short, it's a very powerful but a very slow-acting poison. It's not going to kill you tomorrow, but it could kill you in 60 years and make you miserable the whole way down. So fructose is a poison. Don't eat it. In fact, if you are struggling with leaky gut, there are a lot of people with some very serious GI issues. First thing you should do is stop eating sugar and stop eating grains. That will help greatly. Fructose also drives you to eat more. It doesn't stimulate an insulin response, so leptin, which is the satiety hormone, isn't triggered either. So if you ever want to test this, I don't recommend you do this, but just kind of as a thought experiment, go to McDonald's one day and eat a Big Mac, a large fry, and a Coke, and you'll be able to eat it just fine. But then the next day, go back and eat a Big Mac, a large fry, but have a big glass of full-fat milk instead of the Coke, and there's no way you will be able to finish that meal. It's because the milk will trigger your satiety hormone, the leptin, and it will make you feel full faster. The fructose that's in the Coke doesn't trigger that satiety hormone, and so you can drink Coke all day long and never feel like you've filled up. So that milk triggers the leptin, told you that we were full faster. That's one of the reasons why we want to kick as much fructose out of our diet as possible, because we want what we eat to trigger the right hormones to tell us that we're full. People that are on high sugar diets, they eat more because your body doesn't see the fructose as food, and so all the different processes that your body has in order to shut down your appetite, they just don't work. They don't work right. So in short, don't eat fructose. That's what's causing the damage. That's what's causing your weight gain. That's what's causing so many problems. And if you cut the fructose out, well, I've lost 40 pounds this year just by not eating fructose and grains. So I would definitely consider doing it. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been day 12. Come over and join us on the blog, mysugarfreejourney.com. We'd love to have you over there and check out what we're doing. If you sign up for our daily email, right now we're giving away a 28-day meal plan. Lots of fantastic meals that you can check out. Anyway, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.